What's up guys, welcome back to another Battleborn video. In the last video I went over something pretty important by talking about how important Miko was to success in Battleborn, but that's far from everything that's important to it. What I want to talk about in this video is knowledge. Like in most games, or like in anything even, knowledge is power. You want to know all you can, and that most definitely goes for Battleborn as well. Let me help put this into perspective here. Now, there are 25 characters in Battleborn. As of this video, there are more coming. Each character has a helix with 2 trees, and each tree has 10 skills. On top of that, there are mutations, their 2 abilities, their ultimate, and any passive abilities they may have. Now, that's a lot, isn't it? So, my advice to you guys is probably going to seem a little bit overwhelming here, at least to most, but my advice here is learn it, and learn it all. Yeah, all of it. Why? Well, during your time playing, you've probably faced several different characters, and if you haven't faced them all, then I'm positive you will soon. All of these characters play differently, and to beat them, you need to know what they can do, so you know how to face them, and even if you should be facing them. Like, let's say you have somebody who doesn't know what Galilea does. I know you all probably do, but this is just an example. And let's say that person decides he wants to charge a Galilea with another melee attacker by him or herself. 1v1. They're probably gonna lose that fight, and lose pretty bad if that person behind Galilea knows what they're doing even remotely. Then they have to wait up to 40 or so seconds to respawn, and that's 40 seconds of their team being undermanned, and it's just a bad time all around. Now, if they would have known what Galilea does, even if it was just in general and not down to specifics, they probably wouldn't have gotten into that fight, and their team probably wouldn't be in such a bad spot. Here's a few other examples of why knowing about all the characters is a pretty good idea. What if you didn't know that D'Andy can throw out an AI hologram while he cloaks and comes up from behind you? What if you didn't know that Isaac can make his wards reflect any incoming projectiles back to you? What if you didn't know that Phoebe can turn around as you're chasing her and teleport behind you, slowing you or even regenerating her shields as she does it? That'd probably make you a pretty vulnerable target now, wouldn't it? Now, what if you didn't know Arendi's way of showing affection is third-degree burns? Well, I guess that last one isn't quite as important, but you all probably get the point by now. When you know about a character, you're able to predict what they're going to do more easily. You can do things like see Arendi charging up her ult, so you being, let's say, Caldarius, can use your ult to fly up above her so it can't hit you and come darting down on top of her for the kill. Or if you're maybe Phoebe, you can teleport to the side or even right behind her, slow her, and get the kill. If you didn't know that her ult was a spiraling tube of dark chaos energy that launches out in front of her, you probably wouldn't have been able to make those plays. Knowing what they all do is really only half of it. There's so much more to learn as well. You want to know what setups people normally run, how people normally play certain characters, what group of characters can take on another group of characters. Here's an example for this one. In a lane, there is a Raph, a Marquise, and a Arendi on one side, and on the other side there's an Isaac, Miko, and Oscar Mike. The second group of characters is probably going to win because the Isaac can put up his ward to block and reflect Marquise's bullets back at him while the Raph is pushing up. Then Miko can hit the Raph with a Spore Bomb and make it easy for Oscar Mike to gun the Raph down, not to mention Miko and Isaac can be hitting the Raph as well. And they could do this all while staying behind Isaac's wards. Then it's a 3v2, and let's face it, Arendi is cool, but is she really going to take down 3 guys by herself when they have a healer? Because it's not like Marquise will be much help with that ward up, right? It's a situation best left avoided, or it's a situation where you change up what group is on that lane to better deal with the Isaac, Miko, and Oscar Mike trio. Now, is this going to happen all the time? No, probably not under those exact circumstances, but you get the point. There's also knowing about things like CC effects. What are CC effects? They're crowd control effects, and they're status effects that hinder your opponent's ability to function as intended. Basically, using a CC effect on an opponent will change how they can engage you for a few seconds. There are 2 different types of CC effects. You have hard and soft CC effects. Soft CC reduces how effective the opponent's actions are. So, stuff like blind, root, cripple, and slow fit in this category. What hard does is it stops a target's actions, just outright. So things like knock up, stun, knockback, and silence. It's good to know what all these CC effects exactly do. I didn't know silencing an enemy disabled their hero abilities for a while. I always ignored it, and there were some cases where I was playing where it could have been pretty useful. I also didn't know why I couldn't use some of my own abilities sometimes and what caused that to happen. Now I do, and I can better adapt to those situations. Knowledge helps you predict, counter, and ultimately win, so do your best to gather it. Yes, I know it's a lot, but there are plenty of different ways to go about it. The fastest way would probably just be to look through every character's information and try to memorize what they do. It isn't really the most efficient because most of us don't have photographic memory, but your brain will hold on to a good amount of the information, and you can keep trying to memorize it all. Sort of like studying, except not quite as painfully boring, but probably still a little boring. There are also plenty of videos out there that go over characters quickly or in depth. People have made them. I'll probably be making some, and even the Battleborn YouTube page has quick videos going over each character's abilities and how they can be used. There's even more hands-on approaches as well. You could take each character as you unlock them and play a mission or a match with them to really get some hands-on experience with them, which will make it pretty hard to forget what they do. However you do it is up to you. I'll try my best to help you all learn through my videos, but first I have to learn too, and it's going to take a bit of time. Who knows, maybe we can even help each other out here. There's also probably those of you that don't really care at all, and you're just looking to play around and have a good time, and that's fine too. You're probably not going to get much use out of my videos, but hey, maybe you just like hearing me talk for whatever reason. And that's pretty much all I have to say on that, guys. So just remember, knowledge is power. I want to thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye!